And just like that, we're back. Views from Section 400, Matt, Jack, and Brian, bringing you along for the action-packed midweek show. We have a good one today. Kyle Pagan from Crossing Broad joins us here in just a little bit, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that one. Very special guest. We're excited for some MLB and Phillies talk and some Mets banter. Brian sure will love that. Brian also got a new quarterback, signed another free agent. Two in the last week. So we'll see what Brian thinks about that in just a little bit. And out of all the commotion that we have going on here, the Sweet 16 rolls along tonight. So you're going to want to stay tuned for all our preview reaction. The Auburn Tigers are still alive, so Brian and Jack are going to have a bunch of stuff to get into for the Sweet 16 and obviously the Elite Eight over the weekend. It all starts right now. Let's hear from SeatGeek first.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best month on the sports calendar is finally here. Say it with me. This is March. And the only place to go for every NCAA tournament game is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast. We love SeatGeek. We use it every time we buy tickets. The best part, if you're a first-time user, use code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. That's VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. That's a free beer on us, a free popcorn, a free hot dog. If you're going to Mercedes-Benz Superdome, it might be like a free 5 meals for you and your family. Not Citi Field, unfortunately. But hey, $20 off your first purchase. Views from 400 for every NCAA tournament game. Hopefully you're watching Auburn in the Sweet 16, Final Four, Elite Eight, and eventually the Natty. Maybe some spring training baseball too. Code Views from 400. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting.
Thanks to SeatGeek. As always, we jump into some NFL talk because it just seemingly never dies out. Pretty interesting story here is QB Russell Wilson will be signing with the New York Football Giants on a 1-year, $10.5 million deal. I don't need to say anything else. Our resident Giant fan, Brian, please take us away.
Man, what happened? The Giants used to be a good organization. They won 2 Super Bowls when I was growing up. And now they do something fun. They signed Jameis Winston. And I'm excited about it. I was excited to get on here and talk about Jameis Winston and the fact it could be fun. He could throw 4 touchdowns to Malik Neighbors and then throw the game-losing interception. And it would be the best of both worlds. Maybe go for 40-40, 50-50, break Ohtani's record. And now I'm going to have to watch Russell Wilson, who's going to win the job out of training camp. Because, Joe Schmo is going to say, hey, maybe he can win 6 games instead of 3 Jameis can win. And we're going to be sitting here, and they're going to be 15th in the draft next year. They're going to miss the playoffs. I'm going to miss out on Arch Manning. And we're going to be doing this all over again. Maybe they'll sign Aaron Rodgers next year. It's time is a flat circle. This organization chose Daniel Jones over Saquon however many years ago. And now they're seemingly choosing Joe Schmo over Brian Dable. Maybe Brian Dable can make one of these young quarterbacks look good. But he's not going to have the chance. He's going to be stuck with the Russell Wilsons of the world. It's a disaster. And I'm just, on opening day, on Sweet 16, where I can be so optimistic about my 2 teams, and then I have to deal with this. I hate the Giants. I never thought I'd say that. I hate the Giants. The New York Giants are not fun to follow right now. And it's very sad.
Wow. Will you ever don't come to the Eagles. Go be a Jaguar fan.
I won't move. No, I can't change allegiances. That's soft. I hate people.
You're already halfway to being a Commanders fan.
I am a Jaden Daniels fan. I can be a Jaden Daniels fan, but I'm not a Commanders fan.
But I find it weak that you can go to that team. You work for the radio broadcast down there, so it's almost like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a blanket of an umbrella for you to work under and just be along for the ride with the Commanders while they finally get their shining moment. And then when the Giants maybe are good again in 10, 15 years, it's going to be Brian the Giant fan again. No, I don't want you to have the Commanders. I want you to sit in disgust and misery with no Jaden Daniels, no Commanders, no nothing for 10 years, like I would have done with the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's not my fault that Jaden Daniels happened to be very good. I thought he'd be very good, and he happened to go to Commanders and make the Commanders good. I like Jaden Daniels. I don't like the Commanders. The Commanders win the Super Bowl. I'll be happy for Jaden Daniels, but I'm not gonna claim like I'm happy the Commanders won the Super Bowl.
I
If
think
they win,
he seemed pretty happy that they made an NFC Championship run.
he was thrilled.
I was happy, but for Jaden Daniels, not for the Commanders. Like, I still have a bunch of jerseys when I was a kid of like Maurice Jones-Drew and AJ Green and Mohamed Sanu and like Ray Rice. Like, I was a little problematic there, but I was rooting for these guys that weren't on the Giants. And when they did well, like Ray Rice won a Super Bowl, and I think I get the Facebook memory every year. Like, I'm so happy my favorite running back just won a Super Bowl. So I can be happy for the players. I'm a fan. I'm a sports fan, but that doesn't mean I'm a fan of the team.
I feel like you can't be a fan of the Commanders or the Cowboys or the Eagles. Like, what if Jaden Daniels went to Philly or to Dallas?
Then I would have.
Would you still like Jaden Daniels? I don't think so.
Probably not. But like
No.
the Commanders, I don't know. My mom's a Commanders fan. My grandparents are Commanders fans. Like, I don't care. But they're not a rival. Like, the Eagles are a rival to me. I hate the Eagles. I hate the Phillies. I hate the Yankees. And I guess the Cowboys.
You hate the Cowboys? You don't hate the
I
Cowboys?
don't really hate the Cowboys that much. Because I haven't like had
Just
to deal
they've
with
been so bad.
They've been bad. And yeah, I like our buddy Brock.
What's your ranking? And not to go, we'll keep it short, but you rank your most hated. It can be across sports. I know you mix them up: Eagles, Phillies, Yankees. Rank your most hated. Brian's most hated list. Give us either 1 through 3 or 1 through 5, whatever you got.
Phillies, Braves, Nationals. No, Phillies, Braves, Eagles, Nationals, Yankees. That's probably the only 5 I really
Wait,
hate.
Braves over the Eagles.
Can we get Bama on that list, Brian? Please.
Oh, I forgot about okay. I have to redo that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Redo list.
Please.
Phillies, Bama, Braves, Eagles, Nationals,
Okay.
Yankees. 6. I don't care about the Yankees.
Yep.
Like, I don't have Yankee friends from like the Bronx that. I mean, there's like Blake that I have to deal with. That's a Yankee fan.
Bama football or basketball?
Both. Bama's just under one umbrella.
It's Bama's one umbrella. Okay. Just wanted to clarify. All right, there you have it. Brian's list, and the Giants are a dumpster fire. We can get back on track here. Brian, I want to read you off his stats since you are literally our Mr. Stat guy. Russell Wilson's stats last year: 6-5 as a starter, 225 passing yards per game, 16 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Like, you're that rattled about that coming into your team after the disaster that you've seen over the last 5+ years? I mean, those were his stats last year.
He's boring, he's corny, and he's a prick. And he's going to win some games for you. Like, he's a decent quarterback. I don't want that. I want Jameis Winston, and I want the eating W's and throwing 4 touchdowns and 3 picks and losing the game at the end after it's fun to watch and Malik Neighbors got the ball 25 times.
But he's unlimited.
Unlimited.
And I have to deal with that. And I'll probably come up with some corny Giants
How
country
is that boring, dude?
Well, did you see Darius Slayton, War Eagle? He's excited about Mr. Unlimited.
He is
Yeah, because he
fired
throws
up,
a good
dude.
deep ball. They call it a moon ball, I think.
He said, Giants country, let's ride.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to watch Russell Wilson on my football team. I wanted to watch Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I mean that's the same sentiment I would have if for some reason the Jaguars had these two guys. Luckily, we have a franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, but I could not imagine being in your shoes, dude.
And this is all stems off the fact they had another Russell Wilson. They had Drew Lock win a meaningless game against the Colts, and now I can't have Cam Ward. I got to deal with this.
Well, it goes all the way back to what I've been saying about how this regime got put on a 1-year notice, and now they have to go all in when they're quite literally not prepared to go all in. They're not ready to go all in. They're not prepared to go all in. And they have to throw every little bit of resource money at the wall and do it to what's available, right? Like, this is what's available to them. And hope for the best and hope they have some kind of competent season, or their job's going to be they're going to be out on the street, right? They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they don't do anything, they get fired. You might as well spend everything and hope for the best. So that's exactly what they did. We are continuously seeing this. getting 2 free agent quarterbacks. I think they're out on Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Maybe they grab Travis Hunter.
I'd be fine with that, or Abdul Carter, although I don't know how long either of them would last with the incompetency going on in that organization. They made one move. What's the name of the safety they got, Jack?
Oh, Javon Holland?
Yeah, I like him. That's the one move they've made that I've actually been like, all right, good move.
You bring up a good point, though. You get a very athletic, very talented, top of the draft, prospect to bring in. We saw last year with Malik Neighbors. I won't say he had a full-blown crash out, but he showed signs of crashing out. You absolutely could have something like that this year with Neighbors and maybe with a new guy that you bring in at the top of the draft.
I think, look, as much crap as we're giving Russell Wilson right now and Jameis Winston, they are like NFL quarterbacks compared to what the Giants had last year in Neighbors' rookie season with Daniel Jones and, Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito, excuse me.
Might as well have been Danny DeVito.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, these 3 guys, they're not NFL quarterbacks. They never were starters for longer than 6-7 games. I mean, Drew Lock is probably the best of the 3. I say that with respect to Daniel Jones, Brian, but he's so bad. So Drew Lock probably the best of the 3, and that was in the Denver days. Did nothing. I mean, Neighbors was fully justified. I guess that's what I'm saying. Neighbors was justified in the crash out, and I think that Russ and Jameis give him just enough stability where he's going to be fine. I mean, the Giants are going to be shit, but he's going to be fine. He's going to get his numbers, and that's what he's going to care about.
Yeah, but his numbers would have been so much better if Jameis could still be the starter. But it doesn't seem like you're going to pay Russell Wilson, it was $21 million to sit on the bench.
Yeah, it doesn't. And we can jump into the next segment, but just real quick, Brian, instant reaction, Luis Angel Acuna officially making the team.
Okay, I thought he would. They put Paul Blackburn on the IL. I'm not sure why he's still playing baseball. He needs to retire, but it'll be Acuna and Brett Beatty platooning at second base until Jeff McNeil comes back.
Yeah, and it just said that it's from your guy DeComo too, so I think that's pretty legit. And it's just they informed him that he'll be on the team. Does that make it official, or is there maybe something that can happen last minute where he somehow doesn't make it?
No, yeah, he'll be in there. They need him tomorrow because I believe Framber Valdez is starting, so Beatty's not going to see the field against Valdez. So yeah, you're going to need Acuna, and Acuna, he is the. I do understand it, but I don't. Lindor even said this about him. He is bored when it's not regular season competitive baseball. He sucked in the minors, he sucked in spring training, but when they brought him up, he was electric. And I don't know if you can sustain that for a whole career, just not trying when it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know if you can or can't, but it's definitely something to look at because he'll be with the big league club, and we'll see if he can do it. They brought him up, and he was that spark for a limited time. We'll see how he fares. We'll see. Does he have options? I'm sure he has options left to bring him go down and come back up. Yeah, so he'll be fine there. Yeah, so they'll be good there. But, yeah, Brian's guy makes the team.
I love Luis and Acuna, and I like the platoon of Beatty and Acuna better than I like McNeil there. So I hope they both play well and kind of force the Mets' hand to trade McNeil or make him a bench outfielder.
All right, Russell Wilson to the Giants. That wraps up the segment there. We now jump over to our interview with Kyle, which starts right now. And now we roll in with our special guest. Kyle Pagan joins us now. We welcome him on. Huge Philly guy. You can find his work over at Crossing Broad or Men at Work podcast and the Crossing broadcast. You can also follow him on X at CB Kyle Pagan. Kyle, appreciate you coming on. I know I wanted you to catch that at the end, man. I wanted you to catch that. I like that you did. But what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming on.
I was like, we were just behind the scenes talking about it, and I was like, dude, I have trauma, generational childhood trauma of these damn Spanish telemarketers calling my house looking for Mr. and Mrs. Pagan. You're going to drop that on me, dude? It was
Yeah, my
enough.
bad.
It was enough. I went to Catholic school and I had to deal with the same English teacher making the same joke about being like a pagan at Catholic school for 4 years. I was like, dude, we did this last Tuesday. We're doing this again. How you guys doing?
Oh,
Good, man. I'm glad you caught up on that. It was just jokes, man, but I'm glad you were a good sport about it.
Yeah, Kyle, thank you so much for being here. I got a quick question before we really kick it off with the Phils talk, but are people giving you enough credit for the Eagles Super Bowl victory?
I mean, no one gives me enough credit for anything nowadays, so probably not enough for the Eagles Super Bowl victory. Thank you. It was also Big Dom. I do got to give him a little bit, but he only did 50% of the work. I did 100%. Thank you. I have seen people did come up to me on Broad Street that night and said thank you. Thank Big Dom. Thank Papa Czar down in New Orleans. It was a team effort.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've been keeping up with the content lately. To me, ever since that bet was made, you bring Big Dom himself in there. It's all you. It's all you. Jalen Hurts who?
Yeah, exactly. We should have got Papa Czar on a float. We found a way to do that.
That would have been legendary.
Yeah, definitely would be. As the only Eagle guy, I'll say thank you as well, Kyle. So really brought some spirits to the city there. But what do you got, Brian?
Yeah, well, we are on baseball season now, and I'm happy you bring up trauma. I do have a real question for you, but how much do you hate Francisco Lindor, and do you hate him as much as our guy Matt?
I don't hate him as much as that dork at first base, I'll be honest with you. Francisco Lindor is...
How can you hate Pete Alonso?
He's such a dork, dude.
Couldn't agree more.
He's doing fucking squats during the home run derby mid-round. He's just got stupid, dumb guy face 24/7, 365. He's catching flies he can't close his mouth. He's an absolute dork. Now, if do I reserve the right to take all this back if we make a trade for him mid-season because it's not working out? I do. And, I almost did when I heard there were some rumors that we were going after him, which I would have loved because Bryce would have went back to the outfield, which is team player Bryce.
Yeah, when that came out. So I don't know if you saw the clip, but when Saquon Barkley was a free agent, I said if he ever goes to the Eagles, I won't watch NFL Week 1. And a day later, he signed with the Eagles. And then I saw the Pete news come out. I'm like, this can't happen again. This cannot happen again. So it will not happen again. And I'll never watch the MLB again if Pete Alonso gets traded.
I don't know, dude. I've been seeing some predictions today. A lot of people are going sexy World Series pick. Orioles, Phillies. Don't even have the Mets making the playoffs, which was awesome. Phillies winning the NL East. I've got them over 91.5, especially after I just listened to WIP the other day, just trashed them. I was like, that's all I need, baby, to throw it in. So I feel good about the boys. Nobody in Philadelphia feels good about the boys. I'll be the one, lead from the front, get on my back. I will be the only optimist in Philadelphia until August, when everyone starts to get on board.
Well, we've seen obviously a lot of people are, wake me up in October, but Kyle, we got to be there along the way. It starts. I know they had a WIP rant the other day, like you were saying, but tomorrow, or I guess today, as we're recording this, when it releases, we got to be there from game 1 to game 162. Accountability the whole way. No, man, we got to be there the whole way. It's not wake me up in October. We can't be that fan base.
It's got to be measured. I can't do 162 and I know Mets fans are just like that. Oh, and Jack, I don't know who you root for. Maybe you don't root for anybody. You're a Sox fan. Okay. You guys are nuts too. Dude, the 162 ebb and flow is too much. We gotta figure it out. We gotta kind of take it in like how the stock market reports numbers in like quarters. We gotta like come at, I don't know, what's quarter of like 162. Every 40 games, we have to have a meeting. And we'd be like, the boys aren't performing right now. We came in undervalued. The stock market's going down. Second quarter, bing, bang, boom. The Phils are 28 and 18. Or no, that doesn't even make sense. 28 and 12. And we're like, the boys are up. The numbers are good. The EBITDA looks good right now. That's how we should approach it. We can't do 162. We're going to go nuts.
We are going to go nuts. And I see what you're saying. I don't think that I can allow it in my own fandom to have the calmness. Dude, somebody from the bullpen, the guy we just picked up, Carlos Hernandez or whatever, he's going to blow a game, and everybody's going to erupt. And it's going to be May 2nd. Maybe not even May. It's going to be April 28th, whatever it's going to be. It's going to be madness. But isn't that like why we do this? Isn't that why we're the passionate fan base? It kind of is. But I just see us – there's no way. And there are going to be, I call them casuals, the people who are going to sit there and say, wake me up in October. I'm not going to be that guy. So if I'm locked in on game one all the way to 162, I can't take the stock market approach. I just can't, Kyle.
You're going to be living and dying with Max Kepler's road splits?
Oh, dude, Max Kepler is going to be the death of me probably by mid-May.
Taijuan Walker's going to put you in an insane asylum by start 3.
It might be start 1, but we'll see what happens. I don't think he'll be there that long. I'm excited for the front end of the rotation, but
were you a guy dancing on Stubby's grave?
So we can talk about that for a second because I'm glad you brought it up because I was a little bit, I'm a Rafael Marchand truther, man. You watch this guy switch hitting catcher. He's Adley Rutschman 2.0, a poor man's Adley, if you call it. I absolutely love that they sent him down. We can't fall in love, and we've done it for how many years with Philadelphia fans, where we fall in love with the player and Stubbs, the glue guy. That guy couldn't bat his weight, and he weighs 98 pounds.
I hear you. You're right. From a strategical standpoint, you got to have Marchand, especially with JT Realmuto being old. You got to give him some days off and stuff. Let him be good for October, where that's, like you said, it's all that matters. But just the people dancing on this guy's grave. He's going to fucking Lehigh. He's got to go to Allentown. You ever been to Allentown?
I absolutely have. It does suck. But look, let him go be the glue guy over there. Let him develop the guys over there.
There's a guy who likes beers, dancing, and playing ball. And the people just jumping and just like pissing on his grave are the most insane people. And I'm glad I met one of them right here face to face.
It was fun while it lasted. We're running out of time here, Kyle. The beer and the dancing on our own.
It's true.
It's now or never.
We got one more year with the core.
Oh yeah.
I think I can make an argument Garrett Stubbs led to the downfall of the Phillies. What did he say about the Mets and the Braves in the locker room? When he was chugging the beer, he said something about the Mets and the Braves, and then they haven't get lost to the Mets
talking.
He did. He said
talking.
It was
said something nuts in there.
Yeah, the Dixieland Delight. I think every time they're like, and fuck the Braves, or hey, fuck the D-backs, and like, or fuck the Mets. But he did it every round.
Yeah.
So you can't.
Okay, that's not as bad.
Can't cherry pick one round.
Yeah, it was. He kept it consistent, and then it eventually blew up. But the consistency was there. Look, a strategy standpoint, we're running out of time. It was nice for a couple of years. If you see any of our clips from when we first started, I was dancing on my own, flying around, drinking the beer, and I loved it, man. But
it's what have you done for me lately, League? I understand.
Right, and it's starting to catch up. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited for the year, and I guess I'll hit you with the reverse here and ask the same question. I think I kind of got the gist of where you are, but your strategy, bring up Marchand, but you're shedding some tears over Stubby.
Yeah, dude, I'm a big Stubby guy. Just like he's done stuff with us in content and stuff. Like he's just a good fucking dude. He's just a dude guy you want to have beers with and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I do from a strategic standpoint, like you said, Marchand's the guy. Got to give him the time. Got to give him the reps. Didn't have any minor league spots anymore, so it's like it's just it's the right move. Now Marchand starts over 37. You're going to hear from me.
You have questions. You're going to, and you can. My DMs are open just like yours are. So you can definitely shoot whatever you got to shoot. But look, man, it's going to be interesting, and it's all about keeping Realmuto healthy, right? Let's have Realmuto super healthy and roared in the right direction come playoff time. I think is where it needs to be, and I'm glad you brought this whole topic up because nobody talks about that. Like we're talking about the pitching, we're talking about what can the bats do, but Realmuto was a huge problem last year, especially down the stretch. We don't know if he was hurt, not hurt, but we'll see kind of where this goes as the season's here.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, with Stubbs, he'll be back. But with him seemingly gone, I know he's a big fan favorite. And obviously Harper's there. You do a lot of, like, street interview content. Which player on the Phillies by, like, August do you think the fans aren't going to be able to stop talking about?
Bohm better get it together. I am so out on Alec Bohm, and everyone is out on Alec Bohm. Him crying in the series last year was, like, I'm not a big, like, you're a soft bitch kind of thing, but like can't cry on camera. Going to the clubhouse, keep that shit. I know, but there's no crying in baseball. Like
no,
that pissed me off, and I'm shocked that he's on the team this year. I don't think he has the mental makeup to be there in a big time spot. and he showed it all last playoffs.
I'm happy to say that.
One ground ball, and he's telling the fucking fans that he hates his place. It's like, relax, dude.
Matt and I have been going back and forth about Mark Vientos versus Alec Boehm for the whole offseason, and he's still clinging on to Boehm.
Oh, look, I have to, right? Vientos had a nice year and a nice postseason, but I'm not going to jump on the Mark Vientos. How many Mets have we seen fall off a cliff over the last decade plus? 1 year, it was nice. It was nice. You want to extend it into he had a nice spring training? Fine. But, I'm glad you said Boehm. I was going to ask you a little bit later on in the show here what you thought about Alec Boehm coming here, because there was a lot of speculation, headlines. Maybe since him and Kate Dolan or Erin Dolan, whatever her name is, have a little thing going on, maybe he figures it out.
No, she's weakened his knees. Women weaken
might
knees,
be right.
Dude.
You might be
Ever
right.
since she got together with him after the All-Star break, he's not been good. And I hate to put it on her. She's from Delco. I like her. I actually like her content and everything. She does a good job.
Right.
She's one of us.
Right around the corner. One of us.
But
destroying the team.
From the inside out. It's crazy. And people get mad when you say that now, but you know what?
It's kind of true.
It's the ones that do the most, man.
Yeah.
And look, spectacular chick, works in sports, and like you said, has some really good content. But from the inside out, man, the hot corner.
I'm telling you, dude, if he starts hot, if he starts slow, and she's taking pictures from the fucking girlfriend section, people are gonna be pissed. People are gonna be. It's just a natural.
I'll be pissed.
Yeah, it's just the natural reaction that Mr. 162 over here. You're gonna get pissed.
Especially in
people
April.
Like me who handle it in 25% increments, we understand.
Yeah, it'll take till August for you to kind of get involved with that. And that's fine.
We might need him to dump her after Q2.
Q2, if they don't start hot, Q2, I'm gonna be pissed. I think I'm just bullish on these guys. I don't know why. I think their pitching staff is going to be really good.
It's elite.
They started hot the first half last year. They just always have this and Thompson said the same thing that he said last year, where it was like they're hungry, they want to be there, blah blah blah. That's all lip service and everything. But I mean, he looked like a genius the first half last year when they had the best record in baseball. They get so complacent. And again, it's a long season. I'm okay with them a 10-game stretch where they go maybe 4-6. It happens.
And I'm not going to blow up at that.
Yeah.
But when it's the consistent, so we've seen it at left field last year was the biggest issue, where that was a stretch of a couple months of let's get a guy, let's fix this glaring issue that we have. And then they throw Austin Hayes. They try and put that to replace it, which was a total joke. If we see some kind of blow up, Dombrowski's got to get in there from the get-go and go and fix this problem. They're throwing Kepler at it, which I think is better than throwing an Austin Hayes at it. But I just don't like you just said, maybe with the players, but with the coach, the complacency of just saying, we're really good right now. We'll throw a half-assed piece at it and hope it works.
Yeah, Dombrowski's sneakily encroaching Daryl Morey territory. Where
it's a weird dynamic. You're right.
It's like, what are we doing at the deadline? Like Daryl Morey hasn't done besides James Harden. He hasn't done jack shit at the deadline.
He's using AI to make decisions.
He's done great at the draft. He's done pretty good in free agency for the most part. But at the deadline, man, it's like where you make those moves. And this season, where you can look back at it with the AAA. That AAA team is stacked this year. I know Allentown stinks. We already acknowledged that. But if you're out there this year, you're getting a really, really fun team with Rincones. You got Crawford up there. You got Painter for a little bit. You got Stubby up there for a little bit. Probably a couple other guys that I'm forgetting. That's actually a pretty fun team to go watch with. And that's some bullets in the chamber for them to deal. Aiden Miller, he might be up there. I forget if I read that or not.
Maybe he's AA or he'll be up there soon. But I don't see how he's not. I mean, he's made some great plays with the big league club at Spring. So I could definitely see Miller up there, probably relatively soon. But you're absolutely right.
The Mets fans been really quiet. How you feeling? You guys just riding this high of losing in the second round, being we're the greatest of all time?
Third round. Give him credit.
Sorry. Third round.
No. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah. I don't have to be so I'm not the only Philly fan, Jack. Take notes.
Alabama State also went to the second round too in the tournament this year.
I guess so. Now they call it the first round. It used to be the second round. They finally fixed that whole loophole. But yeah, I'm interested. You keep talking about the hot start. I mean, they had the hot start last year, and it didn't go well. I mean, I missed one show. I went on my honeymoon. Pablo Lopez throws his glove in the stands, and Matt's calling Steve Cohen experiment a failure, and the Phillies the best team in baseball. And then Grimace comes out, and the Mets are the best team in baseball for the second half. So do you really want the Phillies to start off hot? Or do you want to see like I don't know, maybe they start off slow, they get their own little gimmick, and then they go on the run?
They don't. I see. I don't know what I want them to start off because Matt will remember 2 years ago when they went to, or 3 years ago when they went to World Series, they limped into the playoffs. Like we were in the last week being like, are we going to beat the Astros? Are we going to get in? Like, what is going on right now? And then I think like Nola pitches a gem, and we get in. They party. They beat the Cardinals.
You have to go to road wild card series just to stay alive. So
Brian, you wouldn't know anything about that.
They beat the Brewers on the road in the wild card series.
We went to the World Series. We went. We did it.
The Mets did in 2015, and then that flamed out, and now no one's left, and DeGrom's getting a ring with Texas, and
Matt Harvey. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. What was your original question? I want them to start hot. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I just want them to. I don't want them to chase after everything outside of the zone. And I'm like looking, like I saw a tweet where it was like they led spring training in walks and everything. Bryson Stott's back a little bit, leading the spring training and walks and everything. And it's like, all right, that's sick. Just do it on the field. Like that's their big thing. Where it's like, you know, the Mets were throwing, you know, balls away the entire series, and they were just hacking, and it was just so ugly. There was no at bat where you felt like this guy's gonna get a big hit. It was like
absolutely not.
It's fucking killing me to relive this.
So I think I know the answer to this next question, but do you respect Sean Manaea? It sounds like you don't.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets are, until we prove they're not, the Mets are our daddy because they beat us last year. It was embarrassing the way we lost last year.
It was totally embarrassing, but I'm not going to go that far, Kyle. That is outrageous.
Well, Pedro said the Yankees were his daddy, and what happened in 2004? They won it all.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Don't worry about calling people your daddy. Sometimes you got to give credit to the Mets. We got rid of Dollar Dog Night. They picked it up and had a blast, and they beat us in the playoffs. Sometimes you got to tip your cap to the boys when they do something right, even your biggest enemies.
I saw your blog about that too, in the hot dog helmet. And I want to say I did fall for that too. So don't feel embarrassed there.
My man, I fell for that, and I fell for the Rick Pitino's kid, the Villanova, in like 2 days. And usually,
dude,
Matt said that thing.
I was all over it.
I had a bad couple
days.
I was
all over it.
It's like Diamond Dent's coming in too, and
oh my gosh, that had me going bad. But Brian, what were you gonna ask about the king of the hot dogs?
Yeah, no, you. In that blog about the hot dog helmet, you mentioned the Phillies getting rid of Dollar Dog Night and how they're losing the hot dog crown in the NL East. And I think it's just gone forever after the Mets honored a veteran named Seymour Wiener on opening day last year.
Could we? I mean, did anyone check that guy's birth certificate? Like that guy could have had Alzheimer's, and they could have thrown up anything on that scoreboard. And the fact that they said Seymour Wiener, and he was just like, that guy was half dead. Love my troops. Don't get me wrong. That guy was half dead.
Yeah,
I mean,
he absolutely was.
That guy.
That wasn't real. That just wasn't real.
Exactly. Let's get a Snopes check on that, please, if we can.
They tried to put the gimmick in place.
They had I don't know if it was Dollar. No, it was a Dollar Dog Night when they were throwing hot dogs at each other, and it was sponsored by Seymour Wiener.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, the funny thing is, I think I had a hand in the Mets doing that because it was Nathan's Famous who did it, I believe. Yeah. And Hatfield Meats does it for us. And when Hatfield Meats and the Phillies canceled it, I had a charity one. I don't know why I did quotes because I actually donated the money. I had a charity one out in the parking lot after, and I hit up Nathan's Famous, and I was like, "Hey, would you donate like 400 dogs?" And they were like, "Absolutely not. Lose this email." And then a month later, it's like Nathan's Famous is putting on the Dollar Dog Night, and in the email, I was like, "People are pissed off at the Phillies for getting rid of Dollar Dog Night." So if so, fact so, the regional sales manager, whatever that prick's name was, he definitely went to his bosses and was like, I got a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some fucking commission off that.
So we're not only giving you credit for the Eagles Super Bowl, we're giving you credit for the Mets gimmicks last year.
I love it.
And then beating the Phillies.
People forget. The Phillies have never lost to the Mets in the playoffs when they had Dollar Dog Night during the season.
That's true.
No.
It's an unbeatable streak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got a quick question. It seems like you're calling the Mets your daddy. Are you more worried about them or the Braves this upcoming season?
I'm a middleman. This I think equally because I don't know what the Braves are because it's like they were so banged up last year that it's like you kind of forget how good they were in 22,
right?
And it's like because they ran away with that division, right? Am I wrong in 22? Like it wasn't even close.
It was
3 years ago.
I don't know if it was double digits, but high single. I mean, maybe like 8 or 9 games.
Yeah, we were never in it past May.
Yeah, I can't tell if you're trolling me or not here, but the Mets led it for a long time.
Did they really?
And then they let it slip away.
Yeah, the Mets definitely let it. The Phillies weren't close, so you're right there. They had no shot.
Here's the thing, though. I'll answer your question, Jack. Here's the thing: the Mets, and I know Brian will admit this if he's a real Mets fan with some integrity. Your starting pitching already being banged up has to worry you.
So Matt has had this take
weeks, dude,
for the whole offseason. It getting banged up. If one more goes down, I'll be pretty rattled. But right now, what's in place there is fine.
Who are you pitching tomorrow? You pitching some dude that was like an Uber driver 2 weeks ago?
Here we go with the Clay Holmes slander. I'm a Clay Holmes
believer for the Yankees and now opening day starter. It'll work.
What I'm most worried about is Kodai Senga getting pushed to the 5 because he may not.
Dude, he's got the ghost fork fuck you ball that we all been talking about for 3 years. That worked so well in game 2 or game 1, whatever the fuck we took him yard for.
Yeah. Besides the first pitch of the game, he pitched pretty well.
Well, we fucking bullpen.
That was the Phillies bullpen on that over Kodai Senga, but
who was it? Was it Ravitch or was it Michael Kay who was calling that game? Who was just creaming his shorts over the ghost ball the entire game? He was just talking about.
I was actually boots on the ground in the stadium, so
it was a Fox game.
It was probably Smoltz because he's the probably Smoltz and who's the catcher? Przinsky.
Oh, it was
Brzezinski.
It's probably them two who are just really loving it.
Dude, losing to the Mets and having Brzezinski on the call was the worst thing in the world.
The absolute worst thing.
That guy stinks.
But no Buck call a game and my Jags lose. There's really
Jack hates
you guys were never on Monday Night Football. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. I was hoping no one would say that.
I don't mind Joe Buck. And Joe Buck's coming back to baseball. I think he's calling a Fox game to start the year off or something like that. So that's nice to see. But I was watching some of the 08 Phillies highlights. I see why, Philly fans aren't too fond of him. I mean, the absolute just deadness in his tone or tonality was, a sight to see. Kyle, I'm sure you were around to watch some of that.
Go watch when you get a chance. It's 2003 Buccaneers versus the Birds when they shut down the vet, when the Bucs came and shut down the vet.
Yeah.
The kick returner, his name escapes me. It wasn't Westbrook. It was the guy right before it who was like a legend. I think he was a Giant too for a little bit. He runs it back to the 40 or the 30. Kickoff. Beginning of the game. The most fucking mundane Joe Buck call of all time. Brian Mitchell. Brian Mitchell to the 40.
Mitchell.
Brian Mitchell to the 50.
Mitchell.
Brian Mitchell to the 35. 30. Mitchell. Yeah, he just keeps going Mitchell. Mitchell. It's such a bad call. Joe Buck. We just started, dude.
I got to bring that up with Brian. That worked with Brian Mitchell.
Wow.
I got to show
that's a piece of history I need to dive into.
It's so funny.
I think you should, but no, bringing it all the way back to the rotation piece. I think that's why I would lean more towards being worried about the Braves because we don't know what they are. But we do know what they are. We know what they're capable of. We've seen it before. And I sincerely think the Mets rotation is going to be an absolute disaster for at least the first couple months. And then they want to sing this high praise about Sean Manaea, who had a good year last year. Okay, great. I'm not sold on, that's the guy you're bringing back to save the ship?
Yeah.
I'm not buying in. I'm not buying in. I'm not falling in love. Brian's all over. No, he'll read the stats for days on what this guy did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Because
buying
you have to give credit to the Mets pitching lab. And I think it's overblown, but he did change his arm angle, and he got better when he changed his arm angle. And we're going to talk about spring training again. Griffin Canning, who's been batting practice all year, his whole career, has looked good in spring training because of the Mets pitching lab.
This is what they're
pitching
doing,
lab?
Kyle. This is what they're doing.
It's the analytic department that Steve Cohen brought in. It was 6 people before he bought the team. Now it's like 40 people, and he's buying all this stuff. Steve Cohen is changing the Mets.
The funniest thing in the world last year when you guys were in the wild card, you guys like adopted this like underdog Met mentality, and you had like the highest payroll in baseball.
It's a transition year.
It was an all-time spin zone by you guys. It was so
all-time spin zone. The payroll. And,
but you can look at the payroll, and like the top 4 guys were not on the team anymore.
And also, like, Brian loves to throw this stat as well. They were the best team in baseball since May whatever. So there was no underdog aspect other than they got in and then tried to play this underdog role, which, look, is fine. They lost, and
they got hot.
Move on. They got hot at the right time, and that's what you need to do in baseball. But let's a couple more questions here for Kyle, and then we'll get him out of here.
Yeah, let's get your prediction. We've done all this talk. We might as well see, will the Phillies win the NL East?
Phillies will win the NL East. Why? Because I'm a fucking Phillies fan. That's why. I mean, I have no other answer than that. I don't know what's going to happen 162 from now. I would have told you the Braves would probably win the NL East if you got me some truth serum last year and stuff. And then they just couldn't stay healthy. Yeah, Phillies will win the NL East. I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched one spring training game. I'm treating these guys like the Sixers a little bit in terms of like, prove it to me in October. All right. I know how good you can be in the regular season. Regular season, I think in baseball means a lot more than regular season in the NBA. But I think a lot of people in Philadelphia are also kind of like, that's cute. You could be the number 1 team in baseball. We don't care anymore. Prove it to us in October and November. The funny thing is, Brian, you might have heard the Eagles won the Super Bowl. The Eagles kind of were falling into that trap a little bit too, of being like, I don't care that you guys went 13-4. Prove it to me in the playoffs. We just saw you go 10-1 and just have an epic collapse. So
the end of that year kind of got a little not stale, but it was like, all right, let's just have the playoffs start. Like, we were on a 9-game win streak, just beat the Carolina Panthers. And people were like going nuts because we should have lost, honestly, if Leggett catches that ball. Yep. We should have lost that game. And people were just like, this is not a team that can go to the, like, we were going all the way up to the Steelers game. I think is the one where I was like interviewing people where I was like, you know what? People are starting to believe in this team. Yeah. But that was a week later. And the week before, people were just like, this team sucks. Jalen Hurts is not the guy, blah, 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 blah.
And the Steelers game was the final week. People were finally stopped calling for Sirianni's head. Finally said Jalen Hurts is our franchise quarterback. Yeah, that was a big turning point in that season. But Brian, are you listening to this right now? I mean, these Philly fans are spoiled, dude.
Well, that was my first thought, but then Jack, we've kind of been dealing with this too lately with Auburn basketball. They've been the best team all the year. Then they kind of ran out of gas, and now they're getting their juju back, and everyone's starting to believe again.
You're buying in again? I don't trust Broom.
No.
Broom may be an issue. And yeah, Kyle, I want to see, how is your bracket doing? And I want to get your experience, because I did see you did a diner challenge the first day of March Madness, and you needed to hit 8 bets in a row to get out of it.
5 bets in a row. How dare you? My God, 8 bets. I'd still be there. I would have had to miss this. I would have to do this podcast from the diner if I had to do 8 bets in a row.
How long did that take?
It took 13 hours. So for every 10 pancakes I ate, I was able to shave a bet off. Because my illustrious betting history, I don't really string together 5 ever. So I got it down to 3. I ate 20 pancakes, got it down to 3. It took about 13 hours. Shout out to Michigan. Let's go blue. They got me out.
Don't want to hear that right now.
Yeah.
So what? It came down to that UC San Diego game?
Yeah, it was money. So I could only bet 200 money line 200 or lower. I could only bet spreads. I could only bet totals, and I hit a double on UCLA under and UCLA minus 5.5 against who they fucking play. Was it a purple team? Whoever.
UCLA
Utah
played.
State.
Yeah, they beat
Utah State.
beat
I
the
fell.
fuck out
I
of
fell
Utah
on that
State.
trap.
Yeah,
I
and
fell
then I
into
took
that trap.
Michigan under, and if Michigan didn't hit, I would have had to stay over in the diner until noon the next day.
Were they going to allow that?
Yeah, it was a 24-hour
Yeah.
diner. I cleared it with the diner and everything. They were great. I went through 4 shifts of servers.
Yeah.
It was
You almost tip it. Yeah, you almost had to give tips to the.
Guess how much how much the final bill was?
20 pancakes.
Let's all take a shot here.
20 pancakes. Maybe you had an OJ. $35.
No, a little higher.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like 60 something.
60. It was $58.
Bang! Yeah, I like pancakes, so that's good stuff there. But before we let you go, man, you're not all in on Auburn? Who do you got winning it all?
Duke. It's such a chalky pick. It's so bad, but like they're so good. I have Michigan State. I had St. John's. I have Houston. I love those guys. They're fucking dogs. Kelvin Sampson is great. Former AAC bunch. I went to Temple. But it's Duke, man. Cooper Flagg is awesome. And that team is just like 6, 7, 8 deep. Like they're getting that student manager or that 5'5" kid came in twice already.
Like and got
number 55 and he's like 5'5".
Yeah. Like I mean that kid, yeah, okay, he gets some run against a 16 seed, but like that was a good Baylor team. That Edgecombe kid is going to have a good career. He's going to be a top 5 pick. Like that's a legit Baylor team, which is like you see like a lot of times in like the NCAAs, it's like, all right, it's kind of put the ball down and play at that point. It's kind of like who you got, like my guy versus your guy in nut cutting time and everything. Again, why I don't really love Broom. I would take a lot of guys. I wouldn't take a lot of people over like Cooper Flagg and Duke and stuff. Duke is unfortunately chalky pick, but sometimes chalk wins you money.
They look unbelievable.
The way Tahad Pepper's playing right now, he may be Auburn's best player, not Chennai Broom.
Yeah.
I'm not a Bruce Pearl guy either.
I really hope they lose, man.
I feel like everyone's either like a big Bruce Pearl guy or they hate him.
Yeah.
There's no
personality-wise, I like him, but I put him in the same group as Vic Barnes, where it's like, show me. It's kind of like the Sixers and the Phillies right now. Show me you can get there. Show me you can win it. Like, prove it to me.
He would have won it if Chuma Kiki didn't get hurt and they called it the Ty Jerome double dribble.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, listen, Temple would have got to the second round if the big fucking Iowa guy didn't push the other guy in the back. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. All right.
Yeah, man. The only other thing is hopefully the Sixers keep losing and then they get that first pick in the lottery because that's pretty hot right now, man. And that's the only thing that's keeping me somewhat like, string attached to the Sixers is tank away, get that top 6 pick. And,
there's
get the number 1 pick.
No chance the NBA rigs it for the Sixers. They hate this.
No
They're
way.
investigating them every 48 hours. It's crazy.
Every 48 hours, dude. It's unbelievable. But we'll see. I'm holding out hope. It's the only thing that can keep me involved with this team. Because other than that, I'm out.
I know.
I think
the tickets are going for $1 tonight against the Wizards.
Oh, it's a joke. I'm surprised they're even charging.
Crazy. I think Will Smith's going to be there. I think that's why they're charging a little bit.
That's why a couple dollars for a celebrity appearance. It's unbelievable. But Kyle, appreciate you coming on, man. It was an absolute blast. Hopefully we see you maybe in a couple months or a couple weeks. You want to hop back on anytime. You're always welcome. I'll see you at a couple of the Philly bars, I'm sure, soon as well, and we'll take a shot together. So, like I said, at least for me, appreciate you hopping on, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming on, Kyle.
Thanks for coming on. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks to Kyle so much for joining us here up in section 400. For real, make sure you go check out some of the stuff over on Crossing Broad, especially if you're a Philly fan. But we'll jump into now some Sweet 16 talk on the March Madness. Lead 8 right around the corner in the Final Four next week. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We kick it off here now with the, I don't know if it's the first game of the weekend. I guess it is. Tonight, BYU plus 5.5 against Alabama. I know you guys are Bama haters. I wouldn't say I'm a hater, but I'm definitely rooting for BYU here.
This is one of my few, I guess you call it green sub-regions left in my bracket from March. And I did take BYU to win this game in my March Madness bracket. I think this is a great matchup for BYU, and it's not a great matchup for Bama. I mean, on paper, you say, hey, two teams that could score, and Bama's been ranked higher all season, so they should win. But Bama's been struggling from three. Chris Youngblood is not good. Aiden Holloway has turned back into a pumpkin that we all thought he was when he was at Auburn. Mark Sears is still there, but if Bama doesn't make their shots against BYU in a game with an over-under set at 179, they're going to lose. And I have a lot more faith in these BYU players with more experience, and they've played together for longer. I'm a big BYU fan this week.
You know, I'm always hating on Bama. I've been big on BYU. I did have this matchup in my bracket, but I've got Bama taking this one. I mean, Bama has been known as the high-scoring team that loves to run up the court, chuck up threes. Brian, you're saying that you have more faith in BYU here. I don't. I have more faith in Mark Sears, first-team All-American, and I've seen what he's done to Auburn. I have no doubts that he can do the same to BYU, and I think that they handle this game. It'll be an awesome game. It'll be a high-scoring game, but I think Bama handles this game.
Yeah, so I forget if that did Bama beat UNC in the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16 last year?
Elite.
It was a second weekend game, and it was against a very good UNC team. And I think squeaking by would be a little disrespectful because they did win the game, but it was very close. It was very back and forth. I think this is very similar where we're going to get the same kind of game script. And I don't know if BYU is better than – actually, they're probably definitely not better than what UNC was.
Yeah.
But the way this Bama team looks right now, I think they're a lot worse than that Bama team that went to the Final Four. And that run last year they went on, it was Auburn 2019-esque where they couldn't miss. They were actually playing some defense, and they looked unified. And I know they just blew out St. Mary's and they got by Robert Morris, but they haven't looked dominant.
That's fair to say. I think if you want to say that, though, I think that you got to bring up the fact that this BYU team is nowhere near what that UNC team was. I mean, that UNC team was touting Armando Bacot in his fourth or fifth year. They had that transfer, the Irish transfer dude from Notre Dame who couldn't miss threes. McCormick or something. That UNC team was raw, and Bama took them down. It was Mark Sears and it was Grant Nelson, and they're still here with additional pieces. I think they're going to be fine here.
The pieces are worse, though. I don't know. I think BYU is really good, and they're playing some of the best basketball in the country, and I guess Bama might be too. But no, not really, because after they beat Auburn, they got boat raced by Florida in the SEC tournament. And they haven't looked good in this tournament. I know they've won 2 games, there's some bias coming out, but I don't think they're the hot Bama you need at the right time. And the way they play basketball, you need to be hot to make a run in the tournament.
Who do you have, Matt? I know you said you want BYU to win, but
yeah, I want BYU to win. They haven't been this far since 2011. So it's been a little while, and I think this is only the 3rd time since 1981. So they are experienced maybe this year player-wise, but as a school, as a program, not much experience up to this point and beyond. So I'd like to see the Mormon school get another win. And look, we've seen Alabama be dominant in football for so long, and we've seen Alabama now be dominant in basketball for the last couple of years. So I don't need to see it. This is the last hope, the last lick of Cinderella that I have for March Madness. So I want BYU to win. I'm rooting for them. Can Alabama win? Absolutely. They have one of the best, maybe if not the best offenses in the country. And BYU also has a very good offense. So, who's going to win the heavyweight bout? I don't know. It's going down to the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. So I don't know who that favors. But yeah, that's, maybe Bama has the shorter commute to that. So I don't know if that'll fade well. I'm rooting for BYU. The last hope, and you could say Arkansas. Calipari and Arkansas are not Cinderella. I'm not counting them as Cinderella. BYU is the last bit of Cinderella that we have for this tournament.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
Right?
No, if you're not going to give it to Arkansas, it would definitely be BYU.
We'll jump into now Florida versus the Crab Five. also known as the Maryland Terrapins. Florida's the team I have to win it all. I kind of like Maryland and the little crab five gimmick they have going on, but my bracket's pretty cooked, so I'm down to just see a really good game here.
Yeah, Maryland actually had a 2-game win streak against Florida. Those games were a while ago. It was 2021 and 2003. But the last 3 matchups, if you don't count the one from 1932 where it was 24-39, they've all been decided by 5 points or less. So I really like this Maryland plus 6.5. And the crab five, listen, Maryland's not as deep as Florida. Florida might be the deepest team in the country. I know Auburn's very deep, but with the way Jani's playing right now and kind of Jaheim Hudson and Ja'Kai Howard being a non-factor, I think Florida's a little deeper. There's something to be said for hitting a game-winning shot if you're Derek Queen and kind of going on this magical run. You play the 1 seed. And listen, Jacoby Gillespie, Derek Queen, Derek Queen, Julian Reese, Miguel, all these guys can score, and they're good basketball players. If you can make the refs get to your media timeout right at the 4-minute mark of each interval and get that rest, there's no need to be deep. They're college kids. I like Florida. I like Maryland.
Yeah, you can win with 5. There's no doubt. You don't need to be too deep, but the reason why you like to be deep is you're asking these kids to show up every night, and one of them doesn't, 2 of them don't. You're not winning the basketball game. So that's why I like to have a deep team. Love Bruce Pearl for always putting one together. But Brian, you think Maryland can pull this one out, man? Florida's just been too dominant. I'm not betting against them.
They're going to have to play their best game, and they're going to need Florida to play a B game. I think Florida plays an A game. If Florida plays an A- game, they could beat Maryland's A+ game. But Derek Queen might be the second best center in this tournament left behind Jani Brew. I know guard play wins in March, but if Derek Queen can score the same amount of points that Walter Clayton does, they'll be right in the game.
I'm glad you brought up guard play and Walter Clayton. Does Maryland have the personnel to slow down Walter Clayton?
No. They don't. Walter Clayton is going to be unbelievable. I was going to say there's only one name you need to worry about in this game, probably the best player on the floor for both teams, and it is Walter Clayton Jr. At least the last couple of games that he's been playing, he's been unbelievable, and he's carried this Florida team all year. So they might have a deep team, but they also have a superstar, and his name's Walter Clayton Jr. Look for him to have 20 points, lead the charge, get the calls, make the big shots. That's what I like best about Walter Clayton's game. He makes the big shot when it matters absolutely the most. Right before half, he'll hit a big shot. Coming down crunch time where you need a bucket, you can put the ball in his hands and he can make the difficult shot look easy. That's why I like Florida to win this game, solely because of Walter Clayton Jr. and also what they have left on the bench and the starting lineup. But Walter Clayton, absolutely the reason why I would side with Florida here.
Yeah, he looks like the college Steph Curry with the way he moves.
Yeah.
For all the talk about the crab five and them having the best starting lineup, or at least what Maryland fans say, the best starting lineup in college basketball, you take Florida's 3 guards, Will Richard, Clayton, and then Elijah Martin. Those 3 clear Maryland's 3 guards. Derek Queen is better than Thomas Houck, and can't think of their actual starter's name right now. But
Condon.
Yeah, Alex Condon. Julian Reese might be better than their other big man, but guard play wins in March, and Florida's got the 3 best guards on the court.
Yeah, maybe in the country.
Yeah, I think I'd probably right now.
Tahad Pettiford.
The Auburn's versus Florida's is close. When you get Denver, Miles Kelly, and Tahad.
I don't think you can get that as a national championship, though, right?
No.
They would have to face off in the Final Four.
It'd be a Final Four matchup.
Shame on the committee.
Yeah, but you do have Duke sitting on the other side.
I think they want Duke on the other side of the winner of Auburn, Florida.
Got to get there first.
That's probably, Florida or Auburn versus Duke is probably, obviously we love Cinderellas and this, that, and the third, but for terms of just like pure, really good, high-level college basketball game, it's Duke versus either Florida or Auburn.
Yeah, That's good ball right there.
Are we shitting on Houston for not leaving them in?
I don't know. Are we? I mean, you guys thought that they were getting bounced by the Zags last round. You didn't think they were getting out of the first weekend.
They almost did.
Yeah, they almost did. We saw Auburn-Houston already. We also saw Auburn-Duke. Auburn-Houston was a great game. I think Florida would kill Houston. I just don't think Houston can score enough. They match up better with Auburn than they do Florida.
Well, we are hyping up Duke, so let's talk about the Duke Blue Devils. Not taking on those guys that we're talking about just yet. Still a couple more games to go before we get there, but they are taking on the Arizona Wildcats, guided by Coach Tommy Lloyd, who kind of pisses me off when he coaches games. I don't know why. I don't like the way he walks around and just the way he looks. I don't know what it is.
He's got a punchable face.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But, it's whatever.
And
Duke's favored.
Their star player, Caleb Love, has the opposite of a punchable face. It looks like he's going to mess you up if you try to get near him.
Yeah, look, Caleb Love back for his 12th NCAA tournament now with the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll see what he can do. I don't think they have enough. They just don't have enough. This Duke team has not shown signs of any weakness thus far. And the Arizona Wildcats, by Caleb Love, who, like I already said, has been around for a decade, it feels like, isn't going to be the guy who comes in and puts a wrench, in the system or throw a curveball. Duke is too big, too strong, too powerful for any antics that Caleb Love and co. might have up their sleeve.
I full-heartedly agree. There may have been a time back in like the UNC days that I could have said, I don't know, man, he can just chuck up threes from anywhere on the court, hit them, or whatever it is. But yeah, now I'm with you, dude. Duke is just, they're steamrolling right now.
Can Caleb Love score 50 points? Listen, he hates Duke. He is clawing for this matchup. He scored 30 points in the last round. So he's playing good, playing well, and he definitely wants to beat this Duke team, but he's going to need to score probably 50 points.
Yeah, this is his championship right here.
Yeah, it definitely is, but not much to harp on here, right, guys? I mean, Duke should win this game. I'm fully confident in them winning this game. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a blowout, which is kind of what the spread is indicating. Would feel very comfortable backing a Duke team at 9.5.
They played in Arizona earlier this year, and I think Duke's only gotten better, and Arizona's maybe a little bit better than they were, but Duke handled them in that game.
Yeah, I like Duke a lot in this one. But we can roll on here to the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Yeah, the Cinderella team of John Calipari, which I will not call them the Cinderella, but I guess they are. What are you guys seeing in this one? Maybe Arkansas wins because they're red hot. I don't know enough about Texas Tech even after 2 games to really, other than the Toppin guy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I like Texas Tech. I really enjoy watching Cal coach right now. I said it in he was my winner of the week on our last show. Coach Cal is just coaching a heck of a job over there for Arkansas, but I like Texas Tech. I think they got more talent, and they've just been better all season. They've just been there. They've done this. Brian, you showing some love to the SEC?
They do have Adu Thoreau coming back. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Could be completely wrong. I think pretty sure he either leads the team in scoring or he's second on the team in scoring. But Cal told Pat McAfee, of all people, when he broke the news that he's only going to play for like 12 minutes. This is the spot where you fade the underdog and it kind of ends. And I know Calipari's a great coach, and Arkansas is a talented team. They were highly regarded in the preseason for a reason. But Texas Tech is kind of just a better version of St. John's, dare I say it. I know St. John's is the 2 seed, but Tech is St. John's defensively with some offense. And I think if St. John's just shoots the ball for 35% instead of 28% against Arkansas, they blow them out.
Yeah, I don't hate taking Texas Tech here. Maybe the run stops. Arkansas's had a few days to kind of cool off and cool down. So I feel comfortable taking Texas Tech here just because they probably have the better talent. But again, Calipari in March, that anything could happen there. So really a toss up if you ask me.
Yeah, the only thing that I also want to give like an edge to the Red Raiders for is Cal, after beating Patino and having a few days off, he may have already popped that champagne. He might have called his own personal dub on the tournament already. He might not have the motivation to keep going.
Right. Yeah. Couple days off and you start to cool down. So if I had to give a pick, I'll say Texas Tech, but I think it's 50-50. Would not be surprised if Arkansas wins.
So I will say the one angle you have if you're backing Arkansas here, if Kentucky played first on the Thursday and Arkansas was Friday and Kentucky lost, I think Calipari would be okay with packing it in. But I think there's a part of him that wants to get either as far or further than Mark Pope in Kentucky this year. So it helps they're playing before Kentucky.
I didn't even think about that one. There's a lot of storylines for Cal out there right now. A lot of people.
I think that has swayed me over to Arkansas. I completely forgot about that.
It's something to think about.
He 1,000% wants to make it further than Kentucky. He didn't have the regular season that he wanted or anticipated. I don't think anybody, everyone didn't expect them to be this unbelievable top 5 team, but I don't think people expected them to be a 13, 14 loss basketball team. So 100%. 100% agree. Calipari wants to make it not just the same as Kentucky. He wants to go further than Kentucky. And so far, he's done it up until the second weekend. We'll see what happens. I'll switch. I usually never switch, but I'll switch to Arkansas solely because of that reason.
I respect it. I'm still on Tech, but I respect it.
Now we jump to the Friday games of the Sweet 16, starting off with the Ole Miss Rebels taking on Michigan State Spartans. This one's tough for me, man, because I love Tom Izzo in March, and I really think Michigan State has everything to get to the Final Four here. I know it'll be tricky. I forget who they got to play to get there, but it's going to be tricky. And Ole Miss is that other Cinderella-esque team for me where, they weren't probably supposed to be here. They've looked really good. They've beaten some good teams. And this is one where it's I don't know, man. I don't know who I like.
This crowd is going to be 65% Auburn Tigers, 35% Michigan State Spartans, and then it'll flip to 35. Or it'll flip to 30-70 once Auburn comes on after this. Everyone's going to be rooting against Ole Miss. I don't think that Ole Miss had a tweet about buying tickets, and every single fan in the replies was like, I'm not spending this amount of money. So football school, they're not a basketball school. They don't care enough about basketball to go to this game. The home crowd plus Tom Izzo after a full week prepare for an Ole Miss team that's not really supposed to be here. I know they're a 6 seed and we kind of talked them up, but I don't know. I just trust Izzo. And Chris Beard's a great coach, but Izzo's getting to the Elite Eight.
I'm putting my faith in Izzo. I'm just thinking no one wants to see Ole Miss match up against Auburn in the next round. So there's just no way Ole Miss is getting past Michigan State here. Michigan State, Tom Izzo, everyone wants to see them in the Elite Eight.
Ole Miss, which is what? Is that Oxford, Mississippi?
Yep.
Down to Atlanta, Georgia, 4 hour. It's like a 5 hour ride. You don't think the fans are making the trip? For football, they would in a heartbeat.
For football, they would.
But you think no shot?
They're complaining about pricing.
It's the matter of the fact that it's like a 4 or 5 hour drive, but also the fact that the tickets were like $500-$600. And there's a lot of Auburn fans that reside in Atlanta or Auburn, which is only an hour and a half away. I think they're a little more willing to spend that money and make that commitment. So I'm with Brian. That crowd is not going to be too happy, supportive of the Ole Miss Rebels. That's just another reason to fade them.
And if you are a Michigan State fan going to this game, stay and boo the shit out of Michigan when they play Auburn. We would love to welcome you to the Auburn family.
It's a good
one night only.
For one night only, yep.
Yeah, and Brian, you know, I guess speculated on it before it happened, and we all talked about it. This is the perfect storm for Auburn. Basically a home game, and not only, you know, now they're playing Michigan, and Michigan State's going to be in the same building. You're absolutely going to have people that could maybe boo them, but you know, it really is shaping up to be a perfect storm. Are the next two games here in Atlanta for Sweet 16 and Elite Eight?
Yep.
Yes.
Wow. So
this is why
perfect storm for Auburn right now. It's really looking bright.
What we've been dreaming of.
it's what I've been preaching.
Yeah.
Just get that number 1 overall seed, get past the first weekend, and there's no reason you should drop one of these games.
No reason at all. It's looking good.
They
But
beat Ohio
you
State
gotta-
in this building by 40 points in December. And Ohio State's a great team, but like
why'd
they play really
here?
well.
Why'd they play here?
Holiday hoops giving.
Oh, that's what they did.
It's another fun tournament.
Yep. Always goes back to Hawaii.
Al Maui.
Maui
Good
might be
students.
RIP. Auburn might be the last actual Maui Invitational champion. The
Why, they're
players,
not making the tournament anymore?
they're doing the Players NIL tournament. They're making it 32 teams, and they're giving money to all the players and coaches. So Maui's not going to really draw any good teams anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll still be a tournament that's on.
Yeah, it'll be the Mickey Mouse after 2025, though. All the champions.
It'll definitely be a little Mickey Mouse, but it's fine. We don't need to talk about that right now. We're at the end of the season, not the beginning. We roll on to the next game on our list here, though, and it's the Kentucky Wildcats plus 2.5 taking on the Tennessee Volunteers, an SEC matchup in the Sweet 16. I know you guys love this one. Kentucky, I think, has won 3 times this year against Tennessee. Going to be oh so hard to defeat them for a 4th time, but I think they can do it under the guidance and leadership of Mark Pope.
Holy crap. They beat them 3 times this year?
It might be 2.
Yeah, twice in the regular season, once in the SEC tournament.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Wait, did they play in the SEC? Okay, yeah.
I got to check now.
Yeah, I wanna make
fact
sure.
check me, as always. Yeah. No, maybe I'm wrong. All right.
Yeah, see, I'm looking out for you.
That's fine. Yeah, so they beat them on the road and then beat them at home. And then they lost. Was that the SEC championship? Or no, because Alabama lost to Florida in the championship.
Yeah, Tennessee would have played. Tennessee played Auburn.
So Kentucky made it to the semifinals. Gotcha. All right, my mistake. Anyway, 2-0 against Tennessee this year. Kentucky looking to go 3-0. I still like Kobe Bryant and the rest of their squad, and why not? Give me the Kentucky Wildcats. I need them to make the national championship to have any hopes in my bracket. I got ripped on for it. A lot of people said they weren't making it out of the first weekend. They have. They knock on Tennessee. Things are looking really good for them.
Yeah, I love the way that Kentucky is playing basketball right now. Their offense is looking pretty electric. They're about to go up against a wall in Tennessee, but a familiar wall, a wall that they've tangoed with before and beaten twice this year, as you said. So let's do it a 3rd time, Kentucky. Fuck Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't really like either of their teams. It's a great matchup for Kentucky because they can score and they have Lamont Butler, who can shut down one of Tennessee's 2 good offensive players, and Zakai Ziegler. Ziegler and Lanier are playing very well, and they're going to need to play very well in this game to just kind of score with Kentucky. Tennessee really needs to impose its will defensively, and they can because Kentucky is not exactly a big team. They're just an explosive team. I don't know what to do here. I'm going to go with Tennessee just because it's hard to beat a team 3 times. But I could see this going either way.
Yeah. I mean, this is my game of the Sweet 16. I think this is going to be the best game to watch for all the viewers out there. Some good SEC ball. If you're going to make me pick a winner, gun to my head, I will go with Tennessee. But I really hope Kentucky pulls it out. I hate Tennessee.
Yeah, I got Kentucky in this one for sure. I want to talk about Purdue and Houston and end with Auburn. Hope you guys are okay with that, because that's the
fine.
way I want to end this show. So we'll hit Purdue and the Houston Cougars. Brian wants to respect Purdue and Matt Painter and everything they got going on in the Big Ten. I think Houston gets this one done.
I agree. My respect for Matt Painter was for getting out of the first weekend. I don't think we can disrespect him enough to fade him in the first weekend every year. But Purdue, they don't want any part of the way Houston plays basketball, and there's a reason this is a 9.5-point spread. Houston might win this game by 20.
Yeah. I think even as good as Braden Smith's been all season, Houston's going to make him look like a D2 player. So I'm really excited for Houston in this one. I was thinking they were going to get, a McNeese or someone like that, but Purdue, that doesn't scare me either.
And even Cuff and Wren on the inside, like Jawan Roberts, is just going to dominate that matchup too. There's nothing Purdue has.
Houston's offense is probably just as good as Purdue's offense. And the Houston defense is going to absolutely give Purdue a shit ton of – that's where the difference is in this one for me. They're even on offense, and Houston's defense is like light years, I think, better than whatever Purdue's going to throw at them. So
Houston just had to deal with Gonzaga too. Like they're tested versus
they're battle tested for this
Purdue
one.
Team, like as much as we love McNeese around here, McNeese was a 12 seed, High Point the round before that for Purdue, a 13 seed. So Purdue's debatably had the easiest path so far versus a Houston team who just almost got eliminated by the most egregious underseeded team in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely a little more battle-tested, and also why I'm not giving Matt Painter any flowers. He beat a 13 seed and a 12 seed, and we're going to say, oh, he got out of the first weekend, let's give him respect? Hell no.
If this was Gonzaga versus Purdue, Gonzaga's probably favored by like 3 or 4 points.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's a better team, at least I think, than Purdue.
I agree. This isn't one to go back and forth on here, man. I mean, they're going to
also, you can't just say they beat a 12 seed. You've been a McNeese supporter for the past 2 years, so it was that 12 seed.
I have. It was that 12 seed, but I mean, again, at the end of the day,
it's a 12 seed.
It's a 12 seed. So you have it right there. It's not like a 12 seed from the ACC or 12 seed from, the 12 seed from the South End Conference. I can be delusional, but I'm not a moron.
That's fair. I need to
now
make it. The quote cards are coming back. That's going up tomorrow.
The what?
The quote cards.
That's a good one. All right, here we go. That's a great one right there. But we'll go and end the show with not the best game of the weekend, but
The most important game.
Jack and Brian's biggest game of the weekend. It's the Auburn Tigers playing in their home, away from home, down there in a State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, to take on the Michigan Wolverines. Is this where the Atlanta Hawks play? They're not running this one in the Falcon Stadium? I guess it's not a Final Four game. They only do that Final Four?
Yeah, I think so. No football stadium. Well, is Lucas Oil hosting?
No, the Final Four is in San Antonio this year.
Yeah, it is, but like they normally do it. I think Lucas Oil is there a regional in Indy?
Yes.
Yeah, then they're doing it in a football stadium. So I think it just depends on the city. State Farm Arena is big
Are they
enough.
doing it at Lucas Oil, though? Like, they could just be doing it at the Pacers.
Or,
I don't
yeah.
know. It
I
depends
don't
on the
think
city.
they are. It's not that
the
big of a
probably
deal.
have the best facility in that state now.
I just figure if you have Auburn as the number one overall seed, you can really capitalize on some money, some extra, revenue if you have it where the Falcons play. Open it up.
Hey, I would have been able to afford a ticket if they did that, so I'm down.
They probably got concerts and stuff in there.
Something's going on. But, yeah, guys, I'll give the floor to you. I don't need to blabber and yap all about this game. I mean, this is where the grown men need to come to play. This is where arguably championships are won and lost in this weekend and not the Final Four. This is where you find out who your true team is. You don't get stifled up with the hype of the second weekend and get out of the first round. Auburn and Michigan. Dusty May's been here before. What do you got?
I got a message for 6 players in particular. Janai, Cardwell, Cheney, play some damn good defense. Try to keep Golden and Danny Wolf off the board as much as possible. Try to keep them out of the paint. Play some good defense, big man, please. And to Miles Kelly, to Todd Pettiford, and Denver Jones, let it rain. Let it rain. Let me see it. Let me see it. Points 3 after 3. Auburn wins this game by 12.
Wow.
I pretty much agree with everything Jack said. Auburn's just such a better team than Michigan, and I don't think it's particularly close. I don't think Michigan's that much better than what Creighton was, and I know they won the Big Ten championship in the tournament. Their guard play is not very good. There's a reason Trey Donaldson left when Todd Pettiford committed to Auburn. And like Vlad Golden's good. He's been there. He's been to a Final Four. Danny Wolf, of course, beat Auburn with Yale. But if Janai Broome can just be 70% of the National Player of the Year candidate, by the way, Auburn family, you can vote for him to win National Player of the Year. It's 5% of the total vote, so do that every day. If he's 70% of what he can be, this shouldn't be close, and it shouldn't be a game. Michigan State, different story. Michigan State's a little better. Cohen Carr as a rim runner really scares me against Auburn's front court. But Michigan is not a great basketball team. They're a good basketball team. And this is what I've been preaching about Auburn since December. It's just you should walk your way to a Final Four. None of these teams are better than you. Now prove it.
Where did Todd Pettiford come from?
Jersey, baby.
Jersey City.
He's a freshman?
True freshman.
That's a little scary for the upcoming years. Or is he going to go to the pros?
I think we're going to get one more out of him.
Yeah, I think we'll get one more.
I think we get one more out of him.
In the age of NIL, I think we get one more out of him.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking, man. These guys, if he's on any, you better hope that he's not on any mock draft or prospect list.
He's late first round. I think what helps is that you have Cooper Flagg, you have Dylan Harper kind of headlining this one, and he might say, hey, if I stay another year, I could be the headliner next year.
You are really just fucking wishfully thinking, man.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
That's fine. I just want Brian to know that that's what he's doing. Because if he is on a first-round mock draft, he's gone.
He won't make the same mistake Sharif Cooper did.
I didn't know that he was a true freshman. I thought he transferred in from somewhere.
Yeah, true freshman, straight out of Jersey City. But, Brian, that's a great point. I really hope Bruce is just showing him pictures of Sharif like, hey, don't be this guy. Stay in college for an extra year. You're still going to make some money with the NIL. There's no reason to make the jump into the NBA just yet. And he's, as much as we love Todd Pettiford over here, he's definitely a little undersized for the college game. For the pro game, I mean, I don't really think he has much of a shot with where he is right now.
He's not – he looks small because Auburn's guard is so big. He's not super small, but he's definitely not the height you want, ideally, to play in the NBA.
Like 6 foot.
Where did Denver Jones come from? Is he a transfer?
Yeah.
FIU.
What? How did he find these guys? Anyway, we have Auburn and Michigan on the cards. The biggest thing, and I said it in the last show, guys, it's going to be the big men for Michigan. Who's going to stop Danny Green? Ooh, what a name from –
I hope we don't have to play against Danny Green.
What a name from the well. Is he a guy that you could put on a 16 seed and run the table at his age? I don't know. But Danny Wolf.
During those Spurs years.
Yeah, you had San Antonio on your mind after we were talking about the Final Four.
I did. But Danny Wolf, who is going to stop him from hitting the three? I still have not say that a big man can't do it, but I have serious doubts and question marks on what big man's going to go out there and guard it. Because you got to get a hand in his face. You can't play him in the paint and just let him free for all shoot. Because he's going to hit him. We've seen him do it all tournament. So who's going to get out there, hand in the face? I know, Brian, you say this 7 3rd is going to get out there. The guy's 7 feet tall. He can shoot over a guard.
I think Chad Baker-Mazara can take him. Chad, he is lengthy.
Yeah, he is lanky. I mean, you don't really think about Chad being a really thin guy trying to cover Danny Wolf. But if he's getting outside, he could. Chad's a great perimeter defender, so I do like that one. But if you're going to ask him to play inside on him, no, he's going to need help from Broom or Cardwell, Chaney Johnson, someone like that.
Yeah, definitely going to need the help. And look, man, that's the biggest thing is Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf, I think, is the Michigan's path to victory. Because I agree with Brian. Auburn's guard play is superior in this game, and Michigan's going to struggle immensely. It's going to be Michigan's big men, I think exclusively Danny Wolf, keep them in this game and win them this game. That's going to be the bottom line for me is if Auburn can shut down Danny Wolf from the perimeter, which I think they'll have trouble doing, then we'll see Michigan, we'll see Auburn win the game if they can shut them down. If not, I'm not going to say it's any. I think Auburn probably still wins, but it's a lot tighter, and you guys are biting your nails a little bit more than you'd like to.
Justy May's a really good coach. I think he'll keep it close for first 17 minutes, and then we see Auburn's guards, maybe Tahad Pettiford, hit a couple threes to end the first half, and that momentum carries itself into the second half.
Right. That's the problem is Auburn can just hit the threes at a clip, and they hit 3-4 in a row. That is just like absolutely, it's draining. It's a killer.
Open this game up with a Miles Kelly 3. It's all going to be
We're due for a Miles Kelly 30-point just barrage.
You think so? I mean, he gave us that in the round of 64.
He started to, but then he kind of died off. He had the 5 quick ones. I'm talking like a Rupp Arena against Kentucky, just 10 threes throughout the game.
Hey, he could do it. We got it. We're in Atlanta. I do expect big things from him, from this whole Auburn team. Do we want to pick our Final Four?
Yeah, mine's still alive. Duke.
Not this again. We struggled with this last year.
I know. I fucked this up so bad last year. I got it right here, though. Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State, and Florida. That works.
Yeah, it does.
Michigan State plays Florida. Auburn. Bag. What's up, Brian?
I don't believe you, but okay. I'm definitely taking Auburn out of the South, Florida out of the West. I think that we're destined to see them in the Final Four. And oh man, the toughest one for me is Duke or Bama. I'm gonna go Duke, and I'm gonna go Houston. Chalk me up, baby. Chalk me up.
That's major chalk.
It's happened one time in 2007, and it hasn't happened since. But if there's a year for it to happen, it's going to be this year. And
did it happen before 2007?
No. The last time was
time.
One time, and I'm sorry to admit it, but Florida did win the national championship.
Ooh. And we know Brian loves his stats.
So because of that and that alone, my Final Four will be Houston, Duke, Auburn, and the Crab Five.
Wow. The Crab Five. Strictly a spite play here to break up the trend, break up the pattern. Not really pattern, happened once. But to hopefully not start a pattern, so to speak. But that's the Final Four. That's the Sweet 16. The Elite Eight should be just as fun, if not any more fun. What a show, guys. It was a jam-packed one. I'm always here for the long haul, and the guys next to me are as well. That's all I got, man. It's another 2-hour show, whatever you want to call it. It's been a while. I got to go eat dinner and I don't know. It's a lot. Thank you to all.
Thanks, Kyle. MLB season preview roundtable is dropping on the website today.
Bang! Oakland A's to win the division, plus 2,500.